Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Canada's Wonderland teases new ride, says goodbye to an old one. Chow says leadership for Toronto FIFA Games will ensure financial sustainability. Toronto Public Health reporting spike in mpox infections, residents urged to get vaccinated. Poilievre dangles carbon tax election as Liberal MPs ask critics for a better idea. Highway 407 offering free rush hour access, but only to some customers. Nearly 300 Ontario patients moved to LTC homes they didn't choose. Winter travel advisory in effect for Toronto as 17 vehicles involved in collisions on Highway 401 ramp.
These were the headlines and let's jump right into the details.
Toronto's first full day of spring will be marked by periods of heavy flurries and near zero visibility and is already causing problems on some of the city's major roadways. Environment Canada issued a winter travel advisory Wednesday morning ahead of what the agency described as brief heavy snowfall starting this afternoon. The snow itself won't stick around for long and accumulations aren't expected to exceed 4 centimeters, but a cold front moving south through the area could make for a difficult evening commute. Officials say travel may be hazardous due to the sudden changes in weather and near zero visibility. Ontario Provincial Police were called to a multi-vehicle crash on a major Toronto highway early this morning following a burst of blowing snow. In a video posted on Twitter, Sergeant Kerry Smith said officers responded to several separate collisions on the westbound Eglinton Avenue ramp to Highway 401 with a total of 17 vehicles involved. Several people were transported to hospital, he said. The extent of their injuries was not disclosed. Drivers are asked to adjust their speeds to accommodate road conditions throughout the blast of the wintry weather, which is expected to taper off later tonight. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is threatening to plunge Canada into a carbon tax election as Liberal MPs struggle to defend the government's signature climate policy against growing backlash. Poilievre said he intends to move a non-confidence motion in the House of Commons, his latest maneuver to pressure the government over the consumer carbon levy. The opposition leader has ratcheted up his attacks on Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in advance of the April 1st federal price increase to $80 per ton, up from $65. That increase is expected to add about 3 cents to the price of a liter of gasoline. Poilievre spoke from behind a podium with his latest slogan, "Spike the hike," emblazoned on a sign on the front and on nearby screens. The speech followed a new ad bliss and a series of back-to-back rallies Poilievre held across Atlantic Canada, where almost one-third of homes rely on home heating oil, a fuel the government announced last fall it would exempt from the levy for 3 years. The exemption decision prompted Conservatives and other critics to accuse Trudeau of blinking on his signature climate policy out of fear of losing votes. Liberals have since vowed there would be no more carve-outs, which has inflamed long-simmering tensions with premiers. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe said his province would no longer remit the federal carbon levy on natural gas, and Liberal ministers said it would mean an end to consumer rebates for people in the province. Poilievre's bid to do that includes a heavy focus on Canadians' mounting affordability concerns, for which he is blaming the federal carbon price. Ahead of next month's increase, 7 provincial premiers have also panned what Poilievre calls a 23% hike, citing a high cost of living driven by inflation and high food prices. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has rejected their pleas to cancel the increase, saying it would be too easy for the government to delay action on climate change. 8 environmental organizations released a letter on Thursday decrying politicians who they say are shamelessly exploiting Canadians' very real economic pain for political gain. Liberals say if Poilievre or the premiers who are opposed are aware of better ways to cut emissions without costing Canadians money, they should say so. Mayor Olivia Chow said Wednesday that it's time for a little spring cleaning when it comes to Toronto's strategy around the FIFA World Cup games the city will host in 2026, particularly around financial accountability. Chow said she is juggling the committee structure and mandate in order to ensure the game's financial sustainability for the city and that the event builds connections. Toronto is set to host 6 matches during the FIFA World Cup 2026. The deal to host the games, which has assigned under the previous administration, has been criticized for its secretiveness and for saddling the city with costs which could balloon. Toronto has already committed to covering around $90 million of the estimated $300 million price tag on its own. Chow has said she's hopeful the city can make up some of the money through sponsorships and donations. In a letter to council Wednesday, the mayor said it's now the current council's job to make sure the games are successful. Just as soccer is a team sport, the mayor told reporters the city will take a team approach to games. To that end, she said, she's expanding the Executive Steering Committee (ESC) for the games established in 2020 and will chair it herself. Deputy Mayor Mike Colley will be her alternate. The committee will include Deputy Mayors Jennifer McElvey and Osma Malik and Councillors Shelley Carroll and Michael Thompson, as well as provincial, federal, and Indigenous representatives and key partners. The mayor said a champions table will be created at the committee to raise money through donations to offset event costs. Meanwhile, an FWC 26 Forever group will be chaired by Chow with a mandate to help build excitement for the games, create connections with the communities across the city to ensure a sense of belonging, civic pride, and to maximize the economic benefit the city sees from hosting the games. Speaking with reporters alongside Chow, Carroll said residents want to be able to enjoy the few weeks of the games with reckless abandon without fretting out about how much it will be costing them as taxpayers. The city's financial planning division has also assigned an analyst to games to ensure that FWC 26 finances are reported on separately from other city budgets. Chow said the move will ensure the budget for the games is transparent for council and the public. Highway 407 is running a promotion offering free rush hour access, but only some customers will have access to the deal. In a statement, the operator of the tolled and privately owned 108-kilometer express route said certain drivers on the roadway will be able to drive for free Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and 3 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. between April and June. Customers' promotions are common business practice and something 407 ETR has provided to our drivers over the years, a spokesperson said in an email. This promotion is just one way that we are encouraging drivers to increase their use of the highway, giving drivers more time for things that matter most. It's unclear how customers are selected for free access. Opened in 1997, Highway 407 north of Toronto runs east-west from Bulletin to Pickering, Ontario. In 1999, former Premier Mike Harris signed a 99-year lease to a private consortium to operate the highway, which was designed to relieve a badly congested Highway 401. Since then, the highway operator said it has seen traffic levels on its express route increase by over 95%. In February, tolls on the highway were increased marginally after a 4-year price freeze prompted by the pandemic. The agency said in December that the hike would likely result in a monthly increase of less than $5 for the average customer. Nearly 300 people in Ontario have been moved from hospitals to long-term care homes, not of their choosing under a law the government implemented a little over a year ago. The law can see those patients placed in homes up to 70 kilometers away or 150 kilometers if they are in Northern Ontario without their consent, and requires hospitals to charge them $400 a day if they refuse to transfer. It is aimed at moving so-called alternate level of care patients who can be discharged from hospital but need a long-term care bed and don't yet have one in order to free up hospital space. If there are no spaces available in long-term care home a patient has put on their preferred list, they can instead be transferred to a home selected by a placement coordinator at the hospital. The Ministry of Long-Term Care has not previously publicly disclosed the numbers of patients moved under those new rules, but Minister Stan Charles office can now confirm to the Canadian press that 293 alternate level of care patients were admitted to homes they didn't choose between September 2022 and January of this year. Cho says he wants people to be able to age comfortably in long-term cares, not in hospital beds, and the law is both helping people to get more appropriate care and freeing up acute care space in hospitals. There has been a spike in mpox infections in Toronto since the start of the year, and public health officials are warning eligible residents to make sure they are vaccinated. The health unit says that since January, there have been 21 confirmed cases of the virus in the city compared to 27 in all of 2023. It is said that none of those affected were fully vaccinated and that travel is not a significant factor among the current infections, meaning that there is local community transmission. Public health officials said that currently mpox is primarily being spread in the city between people who have had close, intimate, or sexual contact with a person who has the virus. Those most affected include gay and bisexual men as well as men who have sex with other men, TPH noted in the release. Mpox, which is formerly known as monkeypox, is a virus that spreads from person to person through contact with infected lesions, skin blisters, body fluids, or respiratory secretions. It can also be transmitted through contact with contaminated materials like clothing or bedding, as well as through bites and scratches from infected animals. The best way to prevent mpox is through a 2-dose vaccine that is given over a 28-day period, which protects those immunized against transmission as well as helps reduce serious symptoms of the virus. The vaccine becomes most effective after 2 weeks, TPS noted. It should be noted that those who got the smallpox vaccination in the past are not protected against mpox. Residents can find out more information about the vaccine, which is free of charge and accessible without an OHIP card, where they access sexual health care. For more than 2 decades, a ride at Canada's Wonderland has seen guests free fall from 47 meters above ground before swinging over those wondering if they are brave enough to try it themselves. Extreme Sky Flyer has been a staple of the Vaughan amusement park since 1996. But its time has come to an end. Canada's Wonderland recently announced that the ride has been dismantled and removed after nearly 1.2 million swings. The decommissioning of Extreme Sky Flyer is part of a number of changes happening at the park ahead of its May 3rd season opening. Spokesperson Grace Peacock gave the public a behind-the-scenes look at the work underway in a video posted to TikTok, which includes the introduction of a new ride, a relocated entrance, and several renovations and construction projects. Peacock also teased a new entrance to the park, which will see guests travel underneath the massive roller coaster Leviathan. Other changes include a facelift to the backlot cafe, a switch to electric for the beloved ride Vikings Rage, and a new VIP lounge exclusively for Prestige pass holders. There's also a lot of construction underway near Wonder Mountain, and some of the buildings in the open area of the park have been removed or relocated, including Tiny Tom Donuts. Peacock said there will be a special announcement about some of the other construction projects at the park in early April. We think you are going to like it.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.